Hello, dear viewers. I'm glad to welcome you to the channel, Alien Relatives. Mom said that until we establish new rules, you won't be coming home. The story begins like a joke. The mother-in-law decided to make a real housewife out of her son, but she forgot one detail: legal rights to the property. Enjoy listening. Something crunched in the keyhole, and a pleasant metallic grinding sound, as if mechanism was chewing sand. Zana frowned, pulled out the key, blew on her beard, and put it back. The door wouldn't budge. It was a good Gordian door, installed 2 years ago for the awards, which Zana had been gnawing away in the sales department with her teeth and recycled materials. Roma, she shouted, pressing the door. Rom, my key won't turn. There was a thick, cottonly silence on the other side, but Zana knew someone was home. She pressed the doorbell again, long and insistent. The lock clicked. The door swung open slightly, using the chain. Roman's face appeared in the resulting opening. Unusual, soft, a little sleepy, after working remotely, but somehow alien, frowning with darting eyes. Why did you lock yourself in? Zana tried to push the door, but the chain tightened, lesoming like a string. The bags may be heavy. Zana, we need to talk. Her husband's voice trembled, but he was clearly trying to give it a baritone firmness. Here in the hallway. Are you crazy? She put the grocery bags down on the dirty tiles of the entryway. What hallway? Open up. No. Mom said you're not coming home until we establish new rules. Zana froze. Her temples pounded. Not from fear, but from a hot, angry wave of recognition. Mama said, Isolda Markovna, a woman of celebration, a woman of war, a woman who believed that a daughter-in-law was a servant with ATM functions. Roma, Zen's voice became quiet and very clear. This is my apartment, bought before marriage. You take off the chain, now I come in, and we discuss what the hell is going on. This is our family's home, he scolded, his baritone breaking. And in the family, the man should decide. Mom is right. I've let you go too far. Give me the keys and cards. What? Salary cards and a credit card. I'll manage the budget. You're spending irrationally. From behind, from the depths of the apartment, came her mother-in-law's voice. Ramochka, don't be soft. Take everything from her. Let her sit on the stairs and think about her behavior. And tell her that I don't intend to tolerate her hair in the bathroom. Zana looked at her husband. 3 years of marriage. For 3 years she thought that his childishness was simply a softness of character, kindness, that he was a creative person who needed support. It turned out that he was just waiting for a command phase. So you won't let me go home, she clarified. Give me the cards and phone, then I'll let you in on probation. Zana exhaled slowly. The entrance hall smelled of fried potatoes and cat urine. A typical Tuesday evening. Okay, she said. What's okay? Roma was confused. It's good that you're such an idiot, Roma. It makes the divorce easier. She turned sharply, grabbed her bags, and went to the elevator. Hey, where are you going? He shouted after her, rattling the chain. Wait, we didn't finish. Mom, she's leaving. Let her get lost, came from the apartment. She'll come crawling back when she's hungry. Zana entered the elevator and pressed the button for the first floor. There was no tremor in her hands. There was an icy rage, the kind that clears your vision. She spent the night at her friend Svetka's. Svetka, a chesty, loud woman who works as a chief accountant in Konto Nuko's installation department. She listened to Zana's story methodically cutting cheese. Well, Svetka asked, you can, of course, go to the police right now. Where are your apartment documents? The scans are in the cloud. The originals are in the safe deposit box. I'm paranoid, you know. Jana chuckled. My grandmother taught me to keep papers where strangers can get their hands on them. Smart girl. So what are we waiting for? I want this to be pedagogical. Zana twirled her glass of juice in her hands. He thinks he's the boss, that he's captured the fortress at. If I just call the police, they'll take him out. He'll write an explanatory note, and we'll be getting divorced for 6 months while he whines and gets on my nerves, baby. Police don't like to interfere in family squabbles. They'll say sweethearts are playing it safe. No, he doesn't need to bury himself. You're a cunning woman, Zana. Svetka nodded approvingly. And what are you planning to do? He demanded the cards, which means they don't have any money. Roma spent his Latvian on a new monitor a week ago. Isolda Markovna receives her pension from card, but she saves it for the funeral, doesn't spend a penny. They'll want to eat tomorrow for lunch. Well, and their cereal's pasta. Roma doesn't know how to cook pasta. He even manages to turn dumplings into paste. And his mother is a sublime woman, and she refuses to go near the stove on principle. She gets high blood pressure from the heat of the oven. Zana took out her phone. Notifications were pouring in one after another. Roma was messaging. Where are you? Come back immediately. Mom is worried. She has an emotional outburst. You're acting selfish. I'll block your cards if you don't come. Zana chuckled. He will block them. How so? He doesn't have access to online banking. It's a face scanner password. The physical cards are in her wallet. He's bluffing, trying to play the alpha male. Okay, Jana said. Here's the plan. Tomorrow I go to work. And there's a show tonight. The next day passed in a blur. Zana sat in the office, fielding calls from clients, drafting contracts, but her thoughts were in her apartment. She imagined Isolda Markovna walking across her parquet floors in walnut slippers, imagining her vases perhaps rummaging through the linen closet. The thought brought bile to her throat, but Zana suppressed the emotion. Anger is a poor advisor. Calculation is good. At lunchtime, the courier, Jana Viktorovna, called delivering cat food. You signed up for a subscription. Yes, bring it, just a different address. She gave Svetka's address. Morka, thank goodness, was staying with her parents at their dacha, so the animal wasn't being held hostage. By evening, the phone went silent. Apparently, they had entered a state of broad silence, or were strategizing. Zana pulled up to her house 7 p.m. The lights in the windows of her third-floor apartment were bright, and it was sense. Someone was smoking on the balcony, judging by Roma's silhouette. He never smoked at home. Zana had forbidden it. Now apparently he was celebrating his freedom. She took out her phone and dialed a number. Not her husband's. Hello, locksmith service this? Yes, hello. I, the owner. No, I lost the keys. The lock appears to be broken, or the key is inserted from the inside. Yes, I have the documents. How long will it take? Excellent. Then she dialed the second number. Duty station? Hello, young lady. Address, Lenina 45, apartment 12. Illegal entry? No, not thieves. Ex-husband and his mother. I am the owner. I am the only registered owner. They are threatening, barricaded themselves in, damaging property. I'm afraid to go in alone. Please send a team. Zana knew how to talk to dispatchers. Calmly and confidently use the word threat to life and damage to property. She sat down on a bench by the entrance and began to wait. The first to arrive was the locksmith, a stocky man with a briefcase like a plumber from a German movie. The owner. He nodded at the documents Zana had already held at the ready. Aha, passport, unified state registration again. Everything is clear. Well, let's go break in. Wait a couple of minutes, Zana asked. The police will be here soon. There are aggressive tenants inside. The locksmith grunted understandingly and lit a cigarette. Family matters happen. Last week, a man walled his wife into the toilet and pumped foam into the door. Circus. A police UAZ rolled lazily into the yard. Two people got out, a young, bored lieutenant and an older sergeant with the face of a man who had seen everything. Who called? The lieutenant adjusted his cap. Zana stepped forward. Briefly, without unnecessary emotion, she explained the essence. It's her apartment. The marriage isn't dissolved, but her husband has changed the locks or blocked the entrance and won't let her in, threatening physical violence. Citizen, well, these are civil relations, the lieutenant drawled, clearly wanting to go get coffee. You need to go to court. To court? That's to get a divorce and deregister him. If he were registered there, Zana snapped. But he's not registered. His mother isn't either. In fact, there are strangers in my apartment now, blocking my access. Plus, I heard a crash. They might be breaking down the walls. You'll come with me. Document the violation and ensure my safety. Or I'll call the prosecutor's office and complain about their inaction. The sergeant chuckled, looking at the lieutenant. Come on, Sarah Yoga, she's right. If a fight's out there, they'll drag us out later. They went up in the elevator. Silence. Zana nodded to the locksmith, who turned on the drill. A sudden bang tore through the silence of the entryway, digging into her nerves. A second later, heavy stomping could be heard outside the door. What are you doing? Roman's voice broke into a frightened falsetto. I'm calling the police, you bandits! The police are already here, the sergeant barked, slamming his fist hard on the metal. Open up. Don't open this is my house. Get out! Roman's voice thumped with the hysteria of a man cornered. He was clearly alone there. Without his mother-in-law's swearing commands, he couldn't hear. Apparently, Isolde Markvana had safely departed for safe territory, leaving her son to defend the fortress. The locksmith turned off the drill. The deadbolt is jammed, or he's propped it up with something, he said, calmly, washing under the post. I'll have to cut the hinges or push or let him open it himself. Break it down. Zana's voice sounded cold and merciless, like tacky slang. I'll pay for a new door. Citizen, the lieutenant shouted. Open voluntarily or we'll use a special agent. Get out of here. This is my territory, Roman roared, choking with the effort. Judging by the sounds, he was panicking and dragging something incredibly heavy towards the door. The scraping of wood on the parquet floor cut Zana to the heart. Her perfect, expensive Italian parquet. Every centimeter of the scratch echoed in the throbbing in her temples. Okay. The master took a massive hydraulic jack with an expander from the suitcase. Step aside. Click, push, crunch. The door, despite all the vaunted reliability of Gordian, was not designed for industrial tools. The steel rang, giving in to the pressure. A mad panting came from inside. "Come on, push," Roman wheezed to himself, frantically trying to hold the barricade. "I won't let you in." 1, 2. The master pressed the lever all the way. The door flew out of the grooves with a cannon-like roar and swung inward. But not to the end. She crashed with terrible force into something soft and hard at the same time. There was a dull, sickening thud, the sound of shattering glass, and a wild, inhuman scream. And my face, my nose, and Zana, the police, and the foreman burst into the apartment. The picture was truly epic and pitiful at the same time. In the hallway lay a double wardrobe, the very one with mirrored doors that Zona Hannah had lovingly chosen for 3 weeks. The mirrors are shattered into shining pieces, littering the floor. And in the midst of these fragments, curled up in a fetal position and clutching his face with his hands, rolled Roman. "You've killed me. You've broken my face," Roma howled, smearing blood across his cheeks. "Call an ambulance," the sergeant said wearily, looking at the writhing alpha male. Yeah, he was playing around the barricade as crap while the ambulance was driving. The police were drawing up a report. Roman sitting on the man, lying on the floor and holding his nose with the towel that Jana had disgustingly thrown to him, tried to mumble threats, but the sergeant quickly cut him off. "One more word, citizen, and you'll end up in the holding cell, not in the hospital, for resisting legal demands." Zana went into the kitchen. Chaos reigned there. A mountain of dirty dishes in the sink, on the table, wine stains, and crumbs of half-eaten meat on the floor. In the bedroom, there was some also crumpled bed linen. Her linen. Apparently, her mother-in-law had been visiting here during the day, eating, sleeping on her bed, and by evening had safely retreated, leaving Roma to Kurbiet, the seized apartment. Zana shuddered with disgust. She returned to the hallway. Roman had already been raised to his feet. The paramedic was applying ice to him. Her husband's nose was terribly swollen and slanted to the side. He looked infinitely pitiful and at the same time comical. A fallen king on the ruins of IKEA. "You're a monster," he lisped, looking at his wife with hatred. "Did you do this on purpose?" "I came into my house on purpose," Zana said, looking down at him as if he were a gostantore insect. Icy calm finally replaced his anger. "And you, Roma, are just a thief and a pathetic invader. You have exactly 10 minutes before they take you away. Pack your personal belongings. Everything you don't have time to take will go down the garbage chute tomorrow." "I'm not going anywhere. This is my apartment too." He tried to shout, but choked and froze in in pain. "You'll go like a good boy," the lieutenant intervened, slamming the folder with the report shut. "You have no reason to be here. The owner demands that you vacate the premises. Now you go to the emergency room, and then don't come back here for anything, otherwise we'll charge you with the full program." An hour later, the apartment was empty. The broken mirror still sparkled on the floor, a reminder of the battle. Zana closed the temporary lock the repairman had installed and sat down, not caring. Silence. Finally, silence. But that wasn't the end. She needed to consolidate her success. Roman's phone was left lying on the nightstand. In the chaos of loading the ambulance, he dropped it. Zana saw it when she started sweeping up the shards. The screen was broken, but the touchscreen worked. A notification popped up on the screen, incoming video, call mom. Zana didn't answer. She put the phone in her pocket. The next day, Zana took a day off. She called a cleaning service to clean the apartment until it was sparkling clean. She threw out the bedding her mother-in-law had slept on and ordered a new wardrobe. That evening, she went to the hospital not out of pity, but to put an end to it. Roman was lying in the maxillofacial surgery ward. They had reset his nose and put a plaster cast on half his face. Luxurious purple bruises bloomed under his eyes. Seeing Zana, he flinched. "Why did you come?" "To finish him off." She brought things. Zana put her gym bag on a chair. "Here are clothes, a laptop, a charger, your passport." "We'll sue you," he tried, "for causing bodily harm." "Go ahead," Zana nodded, "and I'll file a counterclaim. I'll damage the property. The cabinet cost $80,000, the door $50,000, plus moral damages. And by the way, the police recorded that you inflicted the injury yourself trying to block the owner's legal entry. 2 police officers and a foreman are witnesses. Good luck in court, Roma." He was silent, snorting with plaster. Insano also took his phone out of her purse. "Mom called you many times yesterday. I didn't pick up." She put the broken smartphone on the nightstand. At that moment, the device came to life. Another video call. "Mom." Roman grabbed the phone with a trembling hand. Zana didn't leave. She stood in the doorway, arms crossed over her chest. She was interested in. Roman pressed answer. A face from Olga Markovna appeared on the screen. She was sitting somewhere in the kitchen, judging by both of her sister's flower patterns. In front of her stood a plate of slices. "Roma, son, why didn't you answer? How are you?" Roman glanced sideways at Zana. Some kind of animal fear flashed in his eyes. He was used to reporting, used to being a good boy. Now he too tried to play his role, the role of the winner who had simply temporarily retreated. "Yes, Mom," he mumbled. "Everything is fine. Zana is here. She understood everything?" Zana raised an eyebrow. "Seriously? He's still trying to lie to his mother." "She understood, of course. Where would she go?" Isolde cackled triumphantly, spearing a piece of a sausage with her fork. "You showed her who's boss. Blocked the cards, took the keys." Roman hesitated. He saw Zana take out her phone and start filming him. He. "Well, yes, Mom. I did everything as you said," he blurted out, desperately trying to save face in front of his mother, not realizing that he was digging himself even deeper. "Took the keys and blocked the cards." "What next?" Isolde Markovna, she smiled contentedly, bringing the sausage to her mouth. Smart girl." She then looked closely at the screen. The image stabilized. She saw the white tiles of the hospital wall and IV in the background, and her son's main face was swollen, blue-violet, with a plaster cast on his nose. The mother-in-law almost choked on her sausage when she saw her son. The piece got stuck in her throat. She started coughing, her eyes bulging. "H. Romamochka," she croaked, gasping for air. "What's wrong with your face? And why are you here? What is this, a hospital? Are you at the emergency room?" "Mom, here's the deal," Roman began, deflating like a punctured balloon. Zana stepped forward, getting into Roman's camera frame. "Hello, Isolde Markovna," she said, with a beaming smile. Roma embellished a bit. He didn't take the keys, but lost access to the apartment. He didn't block the cards, but lost his allowance. His face is like that because he tried to steal my closet, but the closet was smarter and fought back. You, my mother-in-law shrieked. Witch! Roma, kick her out. I can't, Mom, Roman said quietly. This is her apartment. I'm homeless. Mom, can I come to you when they discharge me? There was a pause on the other end. A heavy sausage-like pause. Isolde's voice turned icy towards me. Aunt Luba has no space, and I'm renovating my one-room apartment. You know that. You're a man, Roma. Solve your own problems. I told you you should have immediately transferred it to yourself while she was wearing her love. And you? Oh, you're a weakling. The screen went blank, Mom. She hung up. Roman stared at the black rectangle of his phone. That look held everything. The collapse of his world, betrayal, and the realization of his own insignificance. He looked up at Zana. There was no anger in them now, only a pitiful plea. Zana, maybe. Well, let's try again. I'll fix everything. I'll find a job. Zana shook her head. No, Roma. You followed Mom's orders. You did everything. Now enjoy the result. She turned and headed for the exit. The door of the ward closed. Zana stepped outside. The evening air was cool and smelled of rain. She took a deep breath. Her lungs expanded as if a concrete slab had been lifted from her chest. She took out her phone, went into the banking app, and transferred a lump sum from the reserve account to the main one. For new parquet, she thought. She called Svetka. Well, my friend, the operation is over. Oh, well, that's it. Yeah, with a broken nose and without Mom's support. You know, Sveta, I'm actually glad. If they hadn't staged this circus by seizing the apartment, I would have put up with this parasite for another 5 years. Zana went to her car. She liked the reflection in the glass. A collected, beautiful woman with a sparkle in her eyes. No tears, no pity. She got behind the wheel, turned on the music, some old horn loudly, and drove out of the hospital parking lot. Ahead was an empty evening in a clean apartment, a glass of wine, and a whole life in which no one would tell her whose keys were more important. A life where she is the boss, and only she. Well, dear listeners, here is an illustrative story about how dangerous it is to try to be the boss in someone else's house and at someone else's behest too. Write in the comments, do you think Zana should have acted so harshly, or should her husband have been given a second chance? Take care of yourself and appreciate those around you. All the best.